This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 94. Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Brian Deemer.
I'm Matt. I'm Kevin Moyer. I'm Shane Kelly.
I'm Peter Rios.
We are sexy bitches, yeah!
And welcome to the show. This episode of Comic Geek Speak is sponsored by Drawer Boxes, the ultimate storage solution for your comic books. Their website is www.collectiondrawer.com, and they are very awesome, an awesome alternative to long boxes. They look like long boxes at first glance, but you realize there's no lid. There's actually a drawer inside that pulls out. So if you have stacks of them, the ones on the bottom, you don't have to lift all your boxes on top to get to the ones on the bottom. And I have a whole bunch, and I swear to God, they're the greatest things for storing my comics. And our very own forum member, John Mayo, has so many of them that he is now featured on their website. You can see pictures of his collection.
He put up some good pictures on our forum, too.
Yeah, and of course, he buttered us up by wearing the CGS t-shirt on him, too, which is cool. But, collectiondrawer.com. Rich, the owner, is very accessible, so if you have any questions or anything, you can contact them, and he will be sure to answer all your questions. So check him out if you need to store your comics.
I have a little thing for the toy contest. Our own forum member, Dr. Norge, Sean Whelan, is sending a package to add to the prize list. It's a limited edition Fantastic Four pack of HeroClix, as well as a charity Hulk HeroClix that was, I think it was on eBay for disaster relief a while ago. He's sending them up to pony up for another prize. So thank you, and looking forward to that package coming soon. So that's another prize on the pot.
Sean's like a super fan.
Yeah, he sure is.
He does all kinds of stuff.
He does good things.
Yeah. Reminder that our Book of the Month Club selection for January is Aranya, Heart of the Spider. That's Volume 1 Digest. It's available from InStockTrades.com for $4.80. So be sure to pick one up. And, Shane.
Tomato. Shut up.
Talked about the toy contest. We also have the Versus contest. Draw a picture of somebody fighting somebody. And if we like it and you get one of the 5 winners, we'll send you a starter deck of the Versus Fantastic Four cards. It's about $10 value, so it's pretty cool. We've got some fantastic drawings so far.
We sure do.
Amazing with some of the stuff that's being put up there. Just beautiful stuff.
Yeah. No, thank you. No one has no idea what I'm talking about. Along with the art concept, just at the end of last week, I think I started a new challenge for the fan art challenge thread, and I put Darkseid, and we've already got 3 drawings of Darkseid up there.
Yeah, I saw those.
So let's pick another one. What should be the next character? So when this episode goes live, they have a new challenge.
I'd like to see Starman.
Oh, that's good. Any Golden Age, Silver One, any Starman. That's
any
cool.
Starman. Can be the alien Starman, doesn't matter.
All the blue skin Starman.
Yeah, all Mikhail.
That's right. Cool, there you go. And yeah, if you listen to the show but you don't go on the forum, you don't have to join the forum to read the forum. And I urge you to check out the fan art thread and the Crusaders art thread and the Versus challenge thread.
Poster photos.
Because we have some absolutely amazingly talented artists who listen to this show, and they might not be good enough yet to draw comics for a living, but they're close and they're worthy of your attention. So do yourself a favor as a comic book fan and check out some of that artwork. It's awesome.
I gotta say, Jeffrey Stevens?
Yeah.
Did those drawings of us. Mine is actually my desktop page because I think it looks so awesome.
It is. I mean, everything that has been put up is just high quality stuff. I mean, everybody needs to have a hand, in essence, to their efforts as far as contributing and be willing to do that. I mean, because it takes time and it's something that they wouldn't have to do.
Did you see the one guy who posted like a stick figure?
Yeah.
I can't remember who did it, but it was hilarious. He's like, I'm showing off my artistic talent.
Yeah,
Wait,
I'm just
it's
contributing.
funny.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
hilarious. It was great.
I like how you're getting tied down by the Smurfs.
Oh, I love it. Well, yeah, I talked about that in an episode, and I saw it. It was so funny.
I think
so
it's great.
Funny.
It's so. I did that when he did post those individual ones that Jeffrey Stephen posted, and I said I still can't get over the feeling it is to see us being drawn in different ways and,
It's awesome.
and doing stuff. I mean, it's amazing. It's wonderful, and I can't thank the people enough that do it, because we really get a freaking kick out of it.
Especially the likeness. Is
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at Jamie and I'm like, holy hell, that's
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk him into doing those wings in his hair, but he's a little reluctant.
There was a small discussion about why I have no goatee on the cartoon caricature.
You
and
mean
I'm
your
like,
domino?
Yeah, yeah. Like sometimes I have it, sometimes I don't. But like just the fact that people are discussing it just cracks me up.
But for the record, he has it now.
Yeah,
so
I have it now.
Everything that's been drawn so far that has it.
90% of the
you're
time
in
I have
context
it.
right now. So.
I get rid of it for Halloween costumes. That's about all.
Kevin, have you colored any of those ones that you got from J. Stephen?
I started working on some. It's tough because they're not inked, so I'm learning to work with penciled stuff.
Right.
That's something different that I haven't really much practice with. So it's
Because
a
I'm
new
really
experience for me.
anxious to see some of those things.
Because I'm playing around. What I'm doing right now is, I'm scanning them all in because he sent so many. I mean,
Right.
that last pack he sent was just amazing with all the stuff he had in it. And then this second one that he sent, again, was just a whole plethora of goodness. So I've been scanning them in to get them all in so that way, I can hand them out to you guys and stuff. But I've been playing around with kind of the ways I want to color them. There's some of them I want to try, like maybe the cartoony way where it's like shaded colors and and otherwise I want to try like those ones of us individually, like as our characters that Jay Stephen did. I want to kind of do those maybe as portraits and try to like paint them as close to be realistic as possible.
Right.
But then maybe on some of the other stuff that he's done is like maybe the Crusaders or something like that. Do that in a different style. Do that more of like the cartoony style, the animation style. So I'm kind of playing around with that. But since they're not inked, it does make it a little more difficult, a little more time consuming. So bear with me.
I think I'm getting anxious. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting anxious to start to do like maybe an 8-page Second Chance story or the villain from Second Chance or something like that. We need to flesh it out a little more, but when I see this artwork, I go, oh, we got to tap one of these guys, because how cool would that be?
I mean, somebody announced on the forum, from us doing the fan art challenge and stuff like that. Somebody said, like, well, when's the writers challenge? And they started posting, and people and the artists that contribute were like, oh, I'll draw that, and I'll draw that, and that's great, and it's got me pumped because I have these stories that I've written, and I'd love to have. Any one of those artists work with it, and just have it to come to fruition, to be able to see it tangible, and who knows what could happen from there. So
that's right.
It's definitely something that is worthwhile following through and doing with.
Well, aside from the forum threads and Second Chance, I actually am in contact with one of those artists, and we are actually doing a little mini story. And he gave me the first page, he gave me the first 2 pages and the cover, and I was like, whoa. To see your concept come to life was kind of cool. And we are working on that, and I have to give him a little more info, and he's just running with it. It's amazing. So that'll be up, I don't know when. I have no idea. But it's going to be neat when it's up and running.
Cool.
It's cool.
I have to say, I know we were discussing this the other night, Peter, and Jamie as well, who's not here, but just how much the forum is just taken off by it. It's nice to know that so many people feel comfortable on the forum that they can just take it where they want to, and we have moderating duties, but for the most part, everyone's on it good. We don't have to worry about deleting stuff and stuff like that. And just watching you guys go at it, I think is interesting, just how you guys take it and make it your own as well.
And I on a second note, with applauding with the artists involved and such, doing stuff like this, like with what you're doing, Peter, and what I'd like to do is, I've ventured into this before with local artists or other people, and of course who's got money to be paying an artist to be paying for a book or something? You don't even know if it's going to be published or however. So I mean I've gone that route and have people work with me, and it's like, yeah, okay, I understand the parameters that if it sells and it's something worthwhile, then we each we get something out of it and blah blah blah. If not, it's just something we can show as a portfolio piece. And then they turn around the next time, oh well, I got to charge for this, and I got and I've had a couple instances like that, so it kind of put me gun shy, and to see these people being so willing to contribute and put effort forth like that, I applaud them, that much more. So I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Well, and we have the ability now. Everybody has the ability now, but we have a built-in audience. So if we do an 8-page, second chance story or something, we can just put it on the internet on our website, and you can click through and look at 8 pages, and nothing has to cost any money, and nobody has to buy anything, and then 2,500 people can go read Second Chance and enjoy it, and maybe they won't like it, maybe they will, but it's cool,
And with all the the
That's
professionals that we have coming on the site and checking things out, if somebody catches it and go,
Absolutely.
with
Nothing would make me happier if one of our listeners got a professional job.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I would freak out.
That's amazing.
Because this whole show is about comic books, so of course, if we get to do our own comics or get to be involved in the creative process of a
Right.
comic, that's the ultimate goal, right? I mean, I'd rather do comics than talk about comics,
or both.
Well, but you know what I mean. That's kind of really cool.
Yeah, it is. It really is a wonderful thing that's kind of grown out of the forum in its own little entity, which is wonderful to see to transpire.
I just got a laptop. My wife got us a laptop for Christmas through her father. And I have to say, I bought a wireless card, and I got to sit the last 2 days in the kitchen while me and the kids were eating lunch, and once while they were watching some movie, Sesame Street or something, for an hour or two. And I got to really in-depthly just post on the forum for 2 hours without much interruption. It was great. It was a riot. And I love to be able to dedicate that time to do it.
Except for the time you're checking out the porn sites.
Not on the laptop.
We got an email from Santiago Battistoni. Kevin, this is right up your alley. He says he wants to know if any of us have played Marvel Nemesis Rise of the Imperfects, and what do we think about it?
That would be a yes. I bought it and have played it, and I've actually completed it. My experience and my review of it is they had a great concept. It was a good idea. It's basically EA Games, the people that do all the sports games and successfully, the most successful sport games, have ventured into this genre because of the popularity. And what they did was try to create like a Tekken-style game or Soul Calibur or whatever, Dead or Alive type, where it's a fighting game. However, they took it a step further and made it into also a story game. So if you don't have somebody or you don't want to play against a computer and do fighting game, you can actually do a story. And then they incorporated their own character creations, which they incorporated in conjunction with Marvel. So I played it. I was anxiously awaiting for it because they included some characters that have never been in a Marvel game before, like Daredevil and Elektra, and now the Thing's just been in one, but it was neat to see that those characters come in, that you're a playable character that you can mess around with. They did some great environments. They're totally interactive as far as when you do fighting environments. Like one of them's the top of the Daily Bugle building. Well, you're not just restricted to the top of that Daily Bugle building. You can actually, depending on what it is, you can go to fall off that and go onto another building top, and you could go through. Or there's sometimes where you're just fighting character to character. It's like an out of bounds, out of ring thing. So while you're fighting the character, you don't have to defeat them to win. If you can pull off a maneuver and toss them over the edge of the building, then they're out. It's like out of the ring. You won that round. So it was a great concept. I was really looking forward. The graphics are cool. I think the environments are very well done. But the thing that really socked me was the gameplay of it. They tried to simplify it. Other than other gaming moves were like Tekken, where you got 20 million combinations for moves and stuff, and if you get against somebody that has a lot of time to play and can memorize all these moves, it's almost impossible to have any enjoyment out of it. So what they did was, no matter what character you pick, it's the same controller combinations, but it gives them different moves. So it's not the same. It's not like the same character has the same move, but they use the same button combinations so that you didn't get too overwhelmed trying to remember 20 different characters, 20 different combinations. So they did that. However, what they did was, I think they made a mistake, is that they limited the amount of combinations and unique things you can do with the character. So it really made it kind of stale and repetitive after a while. So when I played the story mode, it gets kind of difficult because a lot of times the camera doesn't cooperate with you. So, I mean, you could be fighting somebody and you see like maybe a couple of thugs that you're trying to fight, and like there's a guy that could be, you can't see him because he's off screen, but he's like 2 feet away from you, and he'll clobber you, but you have no idea to even defend him because you don't even know he's there. And that happens a few times. So there's a few drawbacks, but mainly I felt the drawbacks were in the game play aspect of it. I thought the graphics were cool. I thought the concept was cool. Some of the new characters are interesting. They weren't that great, but the real cool thing for me was to be able to play some of these Marvel characters that have never been able to play a while, and the graphics just really helped that feel come alive. So it's an interesting checkout. I think now it didn't sell all that great. I think it sold decent, but not that great. So I think now you can buy it, I think, for $30. So I'd say it's definitely worth checking out if you want to rent it. It's some fun. But I would say definitely rent it first and give it a shot. If you don't feel that $30 isn't a big deal for you and you can buy it, pick it up, and have some fun with it. So I kind of look at it and go, I kind of regret spending $50 for it because I bought it as soon as it came out. But if I paid like $20-$30 for it, I wouldn't feel so bad. So it's a decent game, but it's not something and it's not a home run. And again, I kind of give them a little thing because it's their first venture into this type of attempt in this genre and this type of gameplay. So I kind of want to support it because I want to think that they can see their mistakes and improve on it. I sent them an email just to kind of give them a little constructive criticism, just to give them a few ideas of the things that I felt were enjoyable and some of the things that I didn't think were enjoyable, just to kind of give them a little feedback. And I think I want to support other people to do that because I think that really helps. One thing that's been proven over on the internet is that it is a useful tool, and people will use that to utilize to make better product. That, of course, everybody wins in the long run. So definitely check it out if you're interested, if you're a Marvel fan and you want to play with some cool characters and play that kind of type of game. It's worth a check out. But I would say definitely rent it first or whatever, or borrow somebody's first and see what you think before you just run out and go grab it.
All right. We're going to do previews, huh?
Previews.
I'm going to call Jamie. He told me to give him a call. He's homesick.
Seems like we've all been through the ringer.
Why, is he
lately.
away? Or is he...
This is the January previews for books shipping in March 2006.
All right, Pete, what's the first thing that jumps out at you?
Oh, come on.
Who was your dad?
Little Lulu.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Isn't it?
La la la.
Da, da, da.
Who's your daddy?
Hey, we're going to go through previews. Do you have yours handy?
No, my dog ate my previews.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, you didn't hear that story?
Oh.
Yeah, when I got home, I told those guys on Saturday that he had eaten it, and I had it on the table. And when I got home Saturday night, he had finished devouring it.
Oh my God! Did he enjoy it?
I don't know. I'm hoping he's buying me some stuff out of it, but I kind of doubt it.
Is it Technicolor poop? Is that what you're getting at it from?
Well, actually, I don't know if he ate it, but boy, oh boy, he made confetti out of it. It was from one end of the room to the other.
Well, since you're sick, you can sit down and you can try to put all the pieces back together and you can read it.
The big thing for this month, obviously, is DC's 1 Year Later. On the flip cover is Blue Beetle, #1, and the push for 1 Year Later in all. I guess about like 99.9% of their books, of their mainstream books. Some of the things that stick out are like James Robinson doing a Batman story, an eight-part Batman story. They've cut back on certain titles. There's no longer any Legends of Dark Knight, and there's no longer Gotham Central, and there's no longer Gotham Knights.
No, there's Legends of the Dark Knight. It's Gotham Knights. That's no more.
Yeah, there's Legends of the Dark Knight right there.
I could have sworn that was going to be canceled.
It is. Gotham Knights is
I thought it was too.
So James Robinson is writing Detective Comics and Batman comics.
I'm excited about that.
Oh, I mean, this is his first venture into comics in a long time.
Yeah.
So for him to do Batman was kind of straight. Like I was like, really, Batman?
It surprised me.
Well, maybe there's something about 1 year later that we don't know that
Exactly.
suits his writing style.
Exactly.
It actually, I'm probably going to pick them both up because I love James Robinson.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah.
And to go along with that, Jeff Johns and Kurt Busiek are going to be doing a Superman story running through Superman and Action Comics. Superman has we talked about this before. They re-retitled Adventures of Superman to put it back into the Superman title. They got rid of the Superman title, and also they have Action, and so that's going to be amazing.
And the Superman is also they've adopted that renumbering then. So
yeah, they took they took back their numbering from 1986.
Having retitled.
Yep, retitled.
Exit Our Hero, stage left.
Some of the other things, real quick. Aquaman: Sword of the Atlantis by Kurt Busiek. It's a little change in storytelling there. This is basically the month that they're pushing for people to come in and jump in, and we're all on common ground with all of these stories because we're not going to know why they are. I mean, I'm sure a good storyteller will try to fill in some gaps, but that's what 52 is about. And I'm assuming for a year they're going to let some of these things just play out until 52 is done, and it's going to be a lot of hit and miss, but why not jump in and join the fun?
I mean, there is, like, I've noticed some things that just kind of make me cringe a little bit. I mean, the first thing that pops in mind is a Supergirl. I'm looking at that going, like, what is this? I'm
Greg Rucka.
I know, but I'm looking at the silhouetted cover, and I'm kind of like, and I'm hearing some things, from what I've heard, just kind of like hinted at what they've kind of previewed on forums and such like that, and I'm thinking like,
And for DC, for them to mess around with the Flamebird and Nightwing, it's like, oh wow, what are they going to do with that? That's kind of cool.
But I'm digging. I am very excited about the Jeff Johns and Kurt Busiek on Superman and James Robinson on Batman and some of the other.
Simonson and Chaykin on the renamed Hawkman to Hawkgirl in issue 50.
Paul Levitz on JSA.
Paul Levitz and Perez.
That's one I'm definitely buying is JSA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean it's my favorite, and
I mean it's hard for me to buy an Aquaman book, but I mean with Kurt Busiek and Butch Geis, I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I? Don't I?
I'm not buying that many. Because I can't. I just can't afford it. It's impossible.
Shane, I got to ask you, what's your thoughts on the new Blue Beetle from what you see?
I don't know. I'm real skeptical about the costume, but I mean, I'm going to jump right in and get it.
I like that costume.
I gotta say, did anyone else see this? This was on the forum. Remember in Animal Man, one of the first couple issues, the one kid asked him for an autograph and said, "I thought you were Aquaman."
Yeah.
And his name was Jamie, and someone said, "Is this the same one?"
His name's Jaime.
That would be. I think
that would be fun.
That would be if they do. I think that's just.
Well, Jamie isn't Jaime. So.
Well, no, it's the same. I think they're saying it's the same spelling as that guy back.
No, when we had Animal Man in front of us, I remember looking and it was Jamie.
Jamie,
not Jaime.
Oh, okay.
So it's a different spelling.
Right.
Yep. How about Gail Simone and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez on JLA Classified?
Yeah, that's been running for a couple months actually.
I mean, I think that's a cool team.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Showcase presents Teen Titans. You getting that one, Peter?
Yes.
No.
Even though I own most of those issues, I don't own the first 3 though. So
really,
yeah, Teen Titans 1 through 3. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. And this is also the month for anybody who is gets their books from DCBS that they are now shipping all their stuff to 40% off.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's almost added incentive to try anything because even if you only try the first issue, that's
still
all you really need to do.
Well, and a lot of these are going to be 50% off too. Like Blue Beetle is 75 cents. So, I mean, right there I was thinking about buying it anyway. I'm like, well, for 75 cents, I mean, why say no to that?
Yeah. And I'm definitely looking forward to Blue Beetle, but it's going to be very bittersweet because I like Ted Kord so much.
That's got to be difficult when you have a character you like, and that something like that takes place, and then.
Oh, I know. On the Crankcast, Mike Norton goes off at one point about Blue Beetle, about not turning out not to be dead again in some fashion.
Was he being serious, or was he just...
Oh yeah. Like I guess one of those diehard things where you hope that Ted was going to come back in some way.
Oh, okay.
Through the story, and he's not. So he's like, ugh.
Right.
No, I don't, and I've made this well known. I don't want that to happen. If they're going to do something like that to him, then let him dead.
Oh, I agree. I'm
tired.
In my heart, I wish it would have been.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of that crap. You know,
People coming back all the
yeah,
time.
I'm sick of it. You know, and just like if you're going to do something, then stick by it, make it worthwhile, and do it. You know.
Well, I think it just makes it makes it more enjoyable from a reader standpoint, because then you know that people can die.
Yeah,
right.
If they stay dead, it's whoa, he died. Or,
right, because
he
the next
almost
time
died.
it happens, then what are you going to think?
Right.
It's not going to be so impactful for you, and you know, you're already going to be apprehensive, going like, well, what's going to happen? They're going to bring him back. Well, how are they going to do this? You know, so you're automatically looking for that loophole. You know,
Exactly.
No one dies tonight, so says the Phoenix.
The other showcase presents the Superman Family Volume 1.
That's what I'm kind of looking forward to.
Oh, that's the one. I was just going. Yeah, I don't need that one.
that's the one I was doing that too, Brian.
A lot of fun.
I used to buy those.
They're
Those
a
are
lot of
cool
fun.
books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I wanted to spotlight was Batman Annual 25, written by Judd Winnick. And that, if you've been following the Under the Hood story and the Red Hood, this is going to pretty much put a capper on what's going on.
What are you doing, Jamie? Eating Doritos?
No, I'm trying to put a cough drop in my mouth. So keep hacking.
I like the look of Robin's redesigned costume, from what I can see of it.
Not really sold in the cape.
No, I like the cape. It throws me back to like a Battle of the Planets thing, because that's how all their capes were.
Right.
So it's more nostalgia for me than anything else.
That bird
Because
theme.
there's also a Teen Titans Go issue where whoever was doing the cover drew one of those masks on, like that half colored visor thing on Robin, and it looks cool. So, I mean, it's just added nostalgia for me.
So, Peter, Annihilation.
So the rest of us are screwed then?
Looking forward to that.
Cosmic, Keith Giffen, you got me.
Yep. Getting that.
Hey, I totally missed it, I guess, when it came out in issues, this Drax miniseries.
Yeah.
Do you think I should read that before?
He said you don't have to, but the character will be involved in it. So
And how much is the trade?
The trade is $10.99,
So-
and it'll be 40% off, at least,
So
maybe
for $6.
$50. So $6, I guess it's worth buying for $6. Did you read it?
No, but I mean, because I was going to get it in trade as well.
Right.
It's Keith Giffen, and even if it doesn't really connect to Annihilation, because he had plotted that out beforehand,
right.
I still want to get it because there might be some stuff he might pull from it. Maybe it goes the opposite way. Instead of that one going, this is a prelude, oh, what can I pull from Drax into Annihilation?
I mean, I was planning on getting it anyway because I love, Warlock and Captain Marvel and stuff like that. So I wanted to see Keith Giffen and how he would, bring this character back into the fold. And then, of course, hearing about Annihilation, it's just that much more. So I'm really curious to read it to see how he handles the character, but I also want to see if it does kind of give a little hints and things there that kind of bring into it. So I was already anticipating getting it anyway.
The other thing, if you're going to be getting Annihilation, is you should try to look for the Thanos, I think it's Volume 5, Samaritan Trade by Keith Giffen and Ron Lim.
Which covers, what, issues 7 through
7
13?
through 12.
Is it 12? Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think it's in this previews, but it's I know it's on In-Stock Trades, and
Yes.
you'll probably find it at your store or Amazon or wherever you go. And again, it's not something that he wrote in anticipation of Annihilation, but it's, number one, it's a good story, and it also might set you up with the flavor of how he writes Thanos
And handle those characters.
and death and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's, with the Keith Giffen writing the Silver Surfer mini that is tying into that, I'm really looking forward to. I've always loved the character Nova, and they're putting him in a mini-series, and also racing
The Essentials.
The Essentials, which, who'd ever thought that I'd ever see a Nova Essentials, But I think it's great. So, I mean, and then the Super Skrull mini, I think all this stuff, I'm really intrigued to read this storyline. So, I'm way more hyped at reading this Annihilation storyline than I was for House of M.
How about the Illuminati?
I'm getting that as well.
I have to get that.
Yeah.
Yep, me too.
I was actually kind of surprised. I was looking at before it got destroyed, I was looking at the preview of I guess the Annihilation with the Thanos, and all of a sudden now Death from Sandman is now Death instead of the woman with the skull and the cloak.
I saw that picture. It looked, yeah, very much reminiscent of Sandman.
I was just like, whoa, wait a second, when did that happen?
That happened in that Samaritan trade.
Oh, okay.
I gotta know, Shaner, this order, are you going with the life-size Yoda or the Batman utility belt replica that you can buy?
Actually, neither. I can't get into those. I'd love the utility belt. If I had to pick one, I'd go with the utility belt.
That's because he'd wear it all the time in real life.
Got that right.
I have to say that I'm not, I'm actually more excited about this issue of Amazing Spider-Man coming out because they show this cover for Amazing that has Ron Garney artwork on. I was really anxious and excited to hear that he was on the title, and just looking at this cover is going like, I'm really, really excited to see his artwork. I mean, I've often stated on air and on the forum that I'm really disappointed with Straczynski's run on the book, but I'm dying to see Ron Garney do the art on it. I think it's going to be really cool stuff.
I'm going to throw back to DC for a second. I noticed that for toy fans, the Elseworld Series 2 is coming out, and it's got Batman, Red Sun, Superman, Red Sun, but it also has Kingdom Come Jade and Kingdom Come Spectre and Norman McKay, along with the Batman Gotham by Gaslight. But it's the Alex Ross Kingdom Come figures that I wanted to spotlight for people who may not have seen that, because they usually have them in their own series.
Right. Yeah, it's nice to see Alex Ross's dad has a figure now.
I know, I thought of that too.
Runaways Volume 5 Digest. Always a good one.
When you're speaking of Keith Giffen, Boom Studios has his Hero Squared ongoing #1 coming out.
Yeah, if he ever gets the rest of those out.
Yeah, how about it?
They're out.
Some of them are out. There, he's behind though.
No, I have issue 3, Hero Squared 3. That's out.
I thought there was like 4 and 5.
No, I thought it was only a 3-issue miniseries.
I thought it was 4 and 5 too.
Oh, I'll have to look.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they're way behind. I mean, those were solicited back in like August, September.
There's also from Marvel Squadron Supreme #1 from now moving to Marvel Knights.
Yep. That might make me get that.
Miss Marvel #1.
A nice Frank Cho cover.
Yeah.
Alias Omnibus.
Yeah.
If you have not read this series, now is your chance. All 28 issues, all in one hardcover, oversized. It's
gonna need a crane to lift it.
Yeah, it's $70, but DCBS has it for 50% off, so it's $35.
720 pages.
That's right.
And it's a great book. It's a great run.
Yep.
Brian has this Fantastic Four omnibus here, and it's an impressive package.
It's like an Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah, it really is.
It's huge.
I mean, it has the letters pages and everything, and like I said, I can't remember if Alias had letters pages, but if it's Bendis, it probably did, and that would be great if they're in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did have a letters page.
I have to point out that this month for Marvel, you get a double shot of Ed Brubaker Captain America this month with the regular ongoing series issue 16, but they also have the Captain America 65th anniversary special written by Ed Brubaker as well.
Plus you have the Moon Knight statue and the Rightly So silver and the white.
I wasn't going to mention that, but since you brought it up.
Actually, I was kind of intrigued and kind of maybe possibly want to get those busts that Alex Ross did now that they have the smaller ones for $45.
Yeah, I was going to mention that if you saw those life-size busts that Alex Ross put out in conjunction with I believe it was Dynamic Forces, that when they were released, they were a couple $100 a piece, which was very salty, but they look awfully cool. I have the Spider-Man one, and I wanted to get the other ones, but I don't have the money to be spending $350 for a life-size bust of, they had Green Goblin, Captain America, Hulk, Thing, Wolverine, Dr. Doom, yeah. They've released Spider-Man in the small version, but now this month they solicited Captain America and Green Goblin in I think it's a 5 or 6 inch size bust, and they're only $45. So if you missed those and you wanted to get them but couldn't afford it or whatever, here it is in a more affordable form, and it'll take up a little less space on your shelves as well.
Definitely a little easier to dust.
And something I wanted to point out too with this issue of Fantastic Four, I'll tread all over your issue 536 of Fantastic Four. Joe Quesada has been hinting at this issue the past couple of weeks in his Joe Fridays that this, with this storyline, that the blurb for this is something of a mysterious object has fallen from the heavens to crash in the Midwest, and Reed Richards has been called in to try to piece together the mystery surrounding it. What is it, and how will it lead into Civil War and the return of the Marvel mainstay? So he's been hinting at this, that this issue has some little points that is going to start off, and I guess it's going to be with Civil War, so it's something to keep note of, that if you're interested, you can kind of see what and where this starts from.
And let's not forget I Heart Marvel Masked Intentions, featuring a story penciled by Mike Norton, and another story penciled by Paco Medina, which features Speedball.
You bet, baby.
So it's a double whammy. Mike apparently tried to get to do the Speedball issue, but they wanted to give that to Paco instead. So I would have loved to have seen Mike Norton do Speedball.
You and I would have bought it, Brian.
You should ask him to do that for fun one day.
Yeah.
And well,
that's what he says. I do it for fun. I'm like, all right, do it for fun.
Well, what do you know? Another issue of Iron Man from Warren Ellison.
I saw that. Number 6.
Woohoo! You know, it's so bad. It's now like Dan Clowes and Peter Baggy are coming out with books faster than Iron Man is coming out.
Hey, Jamie, did you happen to peruse the video section of previews?
I looked at it. I didn't peruse very much of it. What?
Scooby-Doo and Dynamite. Did you watch that?
I remember that being on.
Oh, you bet. Blue Falcon and Dynamite was awesome.
Yep.
This is the Scooby-Doo Dynamite Hour Complete Series.
I think it was only 1 year.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they rock, man.
Yep.
There's also, for those, The Batman Cartoon Season 1, Teen Titans Season 1, and the Ultimate Avengers movie, as Matt pointed out.
Yeah. I'm going to definitely check that out.
Yeah, I am too. I saw the trailer for it.
Back issue 15.
Yes.
And somebody go to the magazines, because I have down Alter Ego 57 as well. I wanted to see what...
That's the golden age of Marvel Comics, which has a Captain America cover on it.
That's right.
Yep.
I'll be getting that. That looks really cool. Especially after our little discussion, which kind of...
There's also... Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
No, what I thought was funny when I was looking at those, you notice, we do Gene Colan interview, and in both back issue and in Alter Ego, they have Gene Colan interviews.
Yeah. We're just such pioneers in the form.
Yeah.
So I mean,
the back issue
it's
is
about time the industry kind of
catches up with
just
us.
accept it.
The back issue is Weird Heroes, and it looks like it has. Can you read it since you're sorry?
Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
This issue of Back Issue examines weird heroes of the 1970s and 80s. In all new interviews, Mike Plog discusses Ghost Rider, Matt Wagner revisits The Demon, and Joe Kubert dusts off Ragman. Also, the pencil art of Gene Colan is spotlighted in Rough Stuff, Tomorrow's Publishing.
Cool. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in checking that out. Another thing I'm kind of excited about, which is one of my books, is New Avengers number 17. I think the reason I want to point it out is the fact that this is like the first issue. It's called The Collective, and it's gonna be their first. I like to look at it as kind of their first like real team story, going up against like a cosmic event. So it's going to be something that I think is what we've been waiting for, as everything that we've been doing so far and have been reading in New Avengers is kind of leading up to where this issue is going to start off and actually get some Avengers team action and not be focusing on singular characters or singular plot lines or something, with having the team as a background. This is going to be a focus more now on the team and their adventure. So kind of interested in seeing how that takes off.
In the image section, I think this is the first solicitation of anything. McFarlane Toys has the Simpsons Ironic Punishment Deluxe box set. It's their first foray in the Simpsons license that they acquired.
Peter, I'm surprised you haven't announced it. Thunderbolts 100 is.
Yeah.
So
Should be fun.
Which I'm sorry, I love Thunderbolts, but 100. I mean. I hate this shit. I just hate it. I can't stand.
Talk to the guys who changed it to Fight Club.
I know. Well, I understand, and that's why I dropped the book. But of course, I picked it up when they relaunched it. But I'm sick of this.
Well, what's
Just let the numbers the way they are.
Exactly.
what's She-Hulk numbering right there?
Well, She-Hulk number 6 is out now.
But the second issue or third issue of that series
Third
was
issue was
100.
100
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, so it's just like let's
Just keep
renumber
it
the
at-
series and relaunch it and shit. But now let's take advantage of the fact that this could be the 100th issue of She-Hulk if we went and messed with it.
Plus, they also on the cover they'll have both numbers as well. A lot of times. Yeah.
I hate it. That just drives me nuts.
For all the Robert Kirkman fans out there, Invincible Ultimate Collection Volume 2 hardcover. So it's the next, 10, 11, 12 issues, I think, of Invincible. I never got the first one. I wanted
No, I
to,
didn't
but I
either.
never picked it up yet, and now Volume 2 is coming out.
Did you notice? I didn't take notice, but the Thor Blood Oath hardcover is coming out, and which everybody's who read that has said that's really such a really good Thor book. And I don't know if this is being released as a 50%
They
off.
disagree.
F you. No, I didn't know if this was being released as a 50% off hardcover or not, because I'm
Well,
interested
let's go look.
in checking it out, because everybody that's read it said
What's the creator?
it's written by Mike Aoming and penciled by Scott Collins.
Oh, okay.
So everybody that's read it has been saying nothing but good things about it. So
Yeah, Scott at the Golden Eagle. He knows I love Thor, and kept telling me you ought to get this. I said no, I'm going to wait for the trade on it, but I'm really looking forward to that one.
In the Alias Comics section, there's that, is it Hyperactives, that sparked a little discussion on the forum about the Infinite Crisis cover.
Parody cover.
Thor Blood Oath is $11.99. It's 40% off. I love that everything's
40%
40% off. Oh, it's so great.
That DCBS.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, in stock trades, Aranya is number 5.
Is it? I didn't look.
Yep.
All right.
Anything else popping out with people?
They solicited another how-to from Wizard, and they said it's Volume 2. I have Volume 1, and then they did solicit one that I'm still waiting for, and now they have this one. So I don't know if this is the second in, when they did the first one, they let that go, and then they started this new thing, and I don't know if this is the second in the new thing or not, but they just...
Does it say resolicit on it?
No, it didn't. That's the thing, and it says it's like Volume 2 of a series. So, but I still didn't receive what I thought was the second one before. It's still so. If somebody out there knows or whatever, but if you're a fan of when Wizard used to do their basic trainings pages in their magazine, they're collecting them all, and they're a lot of fun. I mean, they're not like they're not perfect art books, but some of the stuff is really cool, and I liked looking at them, so I'm glad they're collecting them at least.
And they had a different artist cover a different aspect of drawing, whether it's perspective or
Anatomy,
shading and whatever.
inking, coloring.
So it's fun to see that, everybody's different take, doing that.
And that as well has a Frank Cho cover.
And anyone, all the
Terry Dodson.
Oh, Terry Dodson.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say.
I knew that.
It's a chick with big boobs, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be one of those artists.
For all the Sin City fans, just wanted to point out that Dynamic Forces is releasing a Nancy statue that they're putting out, and it's a color statue. It's not a black and white one, so they actually did it in color. Looks kind of cool.
Which one's Nancy?
Jessica Alba?
Jessica Alba played her.
Jeez.
See the stripper, and it's retailing for
Stripper who didn't strip.
$199, and she's got back.
She's got back.
Yeah, it's like a thong back.
You didn't see that in the movie.
She
That's for sure.
doesn't have the cowboy outfit on?
Sorry. She's got
Chaps.
instead of chaps, it looks like thigh highs,
Oh.
like thigh high leather boots, in with a leather thong kind of belt that's almost like a garter belt and like a leather bra. So it looks kind of cute.
She's not topless.
In the Crusade Entertainment section, there's for fans of She, Definitive She, the Essential Warrior. It just popped out at me because it's a big 576 page volume of She, and I've seen that comic all over forever.
I gotta say, to switch gears here a little bit, I'm pleased to see that in the solicited Transformer issues that they go back to the way it should be, with Megatron being a gun and not trying to pussify it where he's got to be a tank, he's got to be something, he's supposed to be a gun, keep him a gun, parents monitor your kids and then you don't have to worry about them pulling the Columbine.
Hey, a couple.
That's
Hey,
Mr.
that's-
White.
Oh, I was going to say,
That ends the sermon.
did you guys see this? Giffen de Mateus, Hero Squared, new
Yeah, we-
series or
That's what
something?
they were talking about.
You went out the room, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, wait a second, where the hell was he?
This is the month that Tim Truman draws Conan 26, with Kurt Busiek writing.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what was in Dark Horse because I know there was another Hellboy, second part of that Hellboy series.
Also on page 305, under the Second to Some Studios, Fade from Blue Volume 2.
Oh,
The
nice.
Fade Trade by Myatt Murphy and Scott Dalrymple. 176 pages, black and white. It's issues 6 through 10 of Fade from Blue. And this is the very, very under-the-radar independent book that most of us have become aware of. And it's
And the guys were very nice.
yeah, they're just great.
Hell of a nice guys.
They have a website, secondtosomestudios.com, that you can probably get the first trade. So now they're soliciting the second trade.
Jamie, you were talking about the Hellboy Macoma.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was issue 2 is coming. 2 of 2 is coming out.
Yeah.
Which is written and art with Mike Mignola, but also Richard Corbin has joined in on the art and the covers.
Yeah.
So that's
That
kinda
should be
cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and you look at the Conan. I mean, you're getting Tim Truman art written by Kurt Busiek and the covers by Tony Harris. I mean, what more can you ask for?
No, I can't go wrong with those.
This softcover Crisis on Infinite Earths novelization by Marv Wolfman is solicited on page 374 for $12.95.
Got to get it.
Didn't you pick up the hardcover?
No, I didn't. I didn't think it would be a sellout. I thought I'd be able to grab that. And
You know,
it's like,
Golden Eagle still has one.
do they?
Sci-Fi Book Club, too.
Cool. I mean, I got to get it because I got to read it. I definitely want to check it out.
Athena Voltaire, Flight of the Falcon #3 from Speakeasy Comics. That's on page 312.
He posted some more art on our forum.
Yeah, I
just
saw that
and
today.
tell you what, I really like his stuff.
And
Steve Bryant, right, is an artist.
yeah,
Yeah.
art by Steve Bryant, color by Chad Fiddler, Kevin Volo, written by Paul Daly. Mike Norton is also the artist on Teen Titans Go #29 for this month.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything in that where the Phantom is for Buckaroo Banzai?
Yeah, they do a thing on Phantom.
Yeah.
With the new Phantom coming out, which the cover looks kind of really cool.
Because that same press does Buckaroo Banzai. They have that first issue solicited, but I haven't seen a second one yet.
No, it's been nothing.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
I just saw it and then I can't. I just slipped past it.
I didn't see another issue of Mouse Guard, did you?
No,
There it
I don't
is.
think
Was
so.
there one last month?
It's
That was the first one last
Yeah.
month.
I thought the first one was 2 months ago.
No,
Oh, it was last
No,
month?
'cause I'm pretty sure I ordered it last month.
Yeah.
yeah, Shane. That Phantom is published by Moonstone,
Moonstone, that's it.
and they have a original graphic novel called Legacy. It's a 96-page original graphic novel by Ben Robb and Pat Quinn, and it's called The Ultimate Origin Phantom. And they're also publishing the comic, which is up to issue 10 now, and that is written by Chuck Dixon.
Oh, Man-Eating Tarp will want you to know that there's a new Queen and Country trade paperback out, so you'll have to.
And also, I wanted to point out, which I think is brilliant, is from Mercury Comics on page 294, is the Alex Ross Bush Sucking Democracy Dry signed and numbered print for $49.99, which was an actual cover that was
Village Voice.
printed on the New York Village Voice, and it shows George Bush as a vampire biting the neck of the Statue of Liberty, which I think is just brilliant. So. Give who too much credit? Thank you, no.
With Queen and Country, I thought there was also a #1 of an ongoing, or they were getting back to the, not #1, but they're getting back to the ongoing?
Yeah, it's 29, I think it said here. Hold on. Yes, issue 29.
Okay.
Operation Red Panda, Part 1. Dun dun dun.
Red Panda.
I hate it when I have a red panda.
You gotta watch them, they're tricky.
They're so cute.
That's how they're sneaky.
All right. Yeah.
And Moon Knight statue. You got to mention Moon Knight statue again.
Silver.
It would be not right if I
There
did
is
not.
a new. What's this from?
Yeah, I'm going to get the white version.
Tomorrow.
Prick.
Tomorrow's there's a Silver Star Graphite edition. What is that all about?
I don't know.
It's just, I think it's, what I was reading on it was just like the big format for, that they use for the Kirby letters, the Kirby Quarterly or whatever. But this is all going to be about Silver Star.
Okay.
An obscure 70s Kirby book.
Yeah.
But if you're interested, the Moon Knight statue from Bowen, which we've had a wonderful interview with him in the last show, I just wanted to point the page number out, which is page 424 and 426. So.
Brian, do you get the?
You're actually getting 2 pages of that.
Do you look at the Forgotten Realm Sojourn with R.A. Salvatore writing?
Yeah, it's they're comic book versions of the novels, and there are 3 novels in the series. So there's each of those series is a 3-issue miniseries. So it's 9 comics total, and Salvatore, wrote the novel, and I think he did maybe a rough outline of what the comics would be, because there's another writer.
Yeah, it says adapted by Andrew Dabb.
Yeah,
I was
so
just curious.
we got one of the issues of, was it Sojourn or was it the one before that, Exile? I think we got from Devil's Due. They sent us a copy. Peter has it right now. I haven't gotten a chance to read it yet, but the book, I love those books. They're some of my favorite books of all time.
And another friend of the show, the Top Shelf. If you like Woodsy and you want to get shirts for your, I think it's kids all the way through adults, they have the Woodsy shirt.
Owly.
I'm sorry, not
Woodsy.
Woodsy.
I was like, who the hell's Woodsy?
Owly. I don't have it in front of me.
I think you're looking at the adult previews there.
That's the one the dog
Horny.
didn't touch.
That's Horny the Owl.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's our previews wrap up, but one more thing. We just got this in the mail. Titan's Companion from Tomorrow's Publishing.
Dun dun dun.
Cool.
Beautiful, beautiful book.
All you suckers that bought it, I'm gonna take that one.
It just was released in December. Yeah, sometime in December, because I got it in my shipment. It's just a history overview from the original Teen Titans to New Teen Titans, Tales of the Teen Titans, the Baxter Run, Team Titans, Jurgen's Teen Titans, and it's got tons and tons of artwork that sketches and convention sketches that I've never seen before. Most of the other stuff I've seen. I mean, maybe there's people out there who haven't seen a lot of this other artwork. And it's just chock full of information. Once again, Tomorrow's Publishing just hits a home run with what they put out. It's by Glenn Cadigan, cover by Phil Jimenez. It's I'm trying to see how many pages.
224
Yeah.
pages.
Yep.
And it is really nice.
Oh yeah.
It's so worth it. There's already a volume 2 that they're planning, and if you're a fan of like the Justice League Companion, the All Star Companion, Legion, here's another one to put on your shelf. And they talk to interviews like Marv Wolfman and Jonathan Peterson, the editor, and George Perez.
Well, it's all broken down by creators, which is kind of cool. There's like a chapter on each of the main creators, and it was really well laid out.
Yeah, it's a great book. So thank you, Tomorrow's Publishing.
I forgot it was coming in my shipment, and I opened it up like, oh.
Yeah.
Other than the Jeff Johns stuff, I never read any Teen Titans, but I ordered it because I wanted to learn, and I was paging through it, and man, it really made me want to just put everything down that I was doing and just start reading.
Yeah.
And some of the other ones, while they're very informative, didn't lure me in like that. This one really sucked me in, so it's very well put together.
Plus, I mean, if you think about it, the Titans are a cornerstone of the DC universe. If you think about like the X-Men, the Avengers, JLA, JSA, they are a cornerstone of the DC universe. So there's so much history involved in it that you can write a companion like this. You're not going to write a companion on, no offense, but like Defenders or trying to think of because there's
Alpha Flight.
There just weren't that many awesome runs, you know what I mean? Or I'm trying to think of some of them.
Speedball.
Like, the Blasters or some ridiculous
What
group.
about the New Warriors?
Yeah, no offense.
I mean,
The Slingers.
It's the Titans. I mean, that was the one book. One of the books in all the time that I've read books one of the few books that I used to get excited about reading, and then it would cliffhang you, just as you were getting that new issue off the shelf, and you'd sit and read it, which would make your jaw drop, and then he'd cliffhang you every damn issue, and it'd be like, damn, I can't wait for the next issue now. So it was just such a well done book. It's not hard to figure out why that was like the top book for DC back in the mid '80s and later '80s.
Cool. All right, Jamie. Well, I suppose we'll let you get some sleep.
Yeah, that's actually. I was actually turning out the lights. I was heading out, getting ready to go to bed, and the phone rang. I was like, "Oh, now they call me." But no, that's great. Anything? What else did you guys do so far in the episode?
Nothing. This was pretty much the beginning.
So yeah. This was the beginning.
Yes.
We started at the very beginning.
Sure.
Yeah.
What a very, very place to start.
Okay, gentlemen.
Feel better.
All right, guys.
Jamie, take it easy.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Q.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's how it goes.
That's it.
Oh boy, let's start that. It's Peter's time for the spotlight. Continuing through our list of audience. All right, this one's from Ryan Sorensen. Let's see, does he? Oh, Repugnus on the forum.
Oh, cool. Okay. Spider-Ham himself.
Question number 1, Marvel. Name either of the 2 characters in the Marvel Universe that has ever crossed over with the Transformers.
Spider-Man. And X-Men.
Spider-Man in Transformers number 3, and Death's Head. The original Death's Head originated in the Transformers UK series.
Yep. Well, he said name either, so you're okay with it.
You got it.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
Yes.
he said either. So
Hear the question?
No, we meant both.
so breathe easier.
Okay, I'm off the hook.
In Alan Moore's Swamp Thing number 55, who was the only superhero that attended Swamp Thing's funeral?
Batman.
That is correct. Number 3, independent question. In the Dark Horse comic series Roach Mill, what was Roach Mill's profession?
Exterminator.
That is correct.
What the hell is Roach Mill?
It's a comic, I remember it, but I never read it.
What's the you check in, but what's that called? You check in, but you don't check out the Roach Motel.
Raid,
Is it?
Raid Roach Motel or something.
Oh, I thought it was Roach Mill.
No.
Okay. I thought maybe that's what. Get the hell out.
There you go. A clean sweep, Mr. Rios.
Jesus. That was luck.
He pulled that one out of his ass.
I've never even heard of that.
I've heard of the series, but I've never read
I never
it.
heard of
I mean,
it.
not that just because I haven't heard of it
Right.
doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. In my little world, it doesn't.
It does in yours, yeah.
Thanks.
Do you want to call me?
Yeah, well, we're going to do...
We'll do the, we're
yeah.
going to do, because we've been neglecting it.
Marvel
We've
events.
going into the Marvel events. Thank you. Couldn't spit it out. And we wanted to talk. We talked about Contest of Champions. Have you read that, Brian? Have you finished that?
Yeah, I read
okay.
that.
Did you see what happened at the end there?
I forget what happened.
Remember we were talking about how there's a controversy about the way it all played out, who they showed to win, and
Yeah, and I don't remember what happened.
I don't remember either.
You don't? You read it?
Oh yeah,
I didn't read
Bruce
it.
was in it that one.
they each had to get they had to get a piece of that globe thing, right?
Right.
Well, the woman who got the globe thing in the last contest
That Shamrock character.
was for one of the cosmic entities. I forget which one she was, but they counted her for the other one.
So actually, in
It
reality,
was a
the end of the
tie.
series was a tie. One side did not win. However, when you read the series, they count the one side as the winning team. And
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
I don't remember. I mean, I remember reading and go, say 3-1. Okay, this one guy won. And
Don't feel so bad. I mean, most people never caught that.
No, the editors obviously didn't.
No, I caught it when I read it back when it came out, and I
Right.
I kind of did a double take and like, wait a minute, wait, and I went back and rechecked it, and absolutely, she was on, I think, the Grandmaster team, and which
Well, no, because he won.
Okay, well then
So
it would have
she
been for
was-
the
She was on the other character's team, but they counted her
as the
she
Grandmaster.
was.
Yeah. So actually, they claimed that the Grandmaster team won, but in reality, it was a tie. So how can you do that? I mean,
Is that like the game we played Saturday night where your team got screwed out of like 3
3
points?
points with the DVD game. Yeah,
That's what-
exactly.
Thanks for that obscure reference.
We got
So we're going to talk about Marvel Superhero Secret Wars and Secret Wars number 2. I don't have my notes. Somebody vamp.
Well, the series was Marvel's way of doing like a grand superhero crossover, which was one of the first times that was ever really attempted.
It was before Crisis,
I was going
right?
to say we should
Well,
also mention that it really was a toy thing first. Like
right.
the
It was in
impetus
conjunction with Mattel.
wanting to put out a toy line, I guess.
Of
yeah.
Well,
Marvel
if I
Heroes.
remember correctly, didn't Wolfman say they announced Crisis before they were really even ready to release it, which gave Marvel time to put out the Secret Wars?
I mean,
No.
probably, but no. Oh, yeah. Oh, the Crisis was around for a while because there's an issue of Teen Titans where the Monitor actually his satellite appears like 3 years before the series.
Oh.
But this was really a toy thing first.
Yeah, I just read
foremost.
the article on back issue about Spider-Man's black costume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they absolutely said that we want to sell some toys. Secret Wars is a cool name for toys, so write a comic book about Secret Wars, and this is what they did.
No matter how lame the toys were.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought they
weren't
were
too
kind of
bad.
cool.
I
I mean,
didn't
for
like
the
'em.
at the time,
They kicked some ass.
and I'm not, I don't want to put this into a DC versus Marvel thing, but at the time, you had the cosmic powers from DC with the Kenner, and
Well,
then Marvel had
Superpowers,
the
wasn't it?
Superpowers. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. And then Marvel had put out the Secret Wars figures, and the articulation was like nothing. I mean, but
Oh, yeah.
but I thought the sculpts were kind of cool. I thought the sculpts in the Secret Wars figures were more kind of realistic and more interesting, I thought.
But there, I didn't even get the Superpowers figures because I didn't like the gimmicks.
Oh, see,
Spring-loaded everything.
Yeah, see, I bought some of those because
Yeah.
I was like, those are cool.
I mean, eventually I regretted not getting some, but
especially some of the obscure characters, which I like,
Yeah,
like Mr.
yeah.
Miracle, and I had to get the Hal Jordan.
and it's a
Yeah.
nice Batmobile and Batcopter that came
Yeah,
with it.
see,
but-
I didn't buy
Those
those.
are
but
nice.
The figures I got
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, Matt knows.
So they announced this that they were going to do this, and I remember the first issue cover was everywhere, like the cover of the heroes rushing at you. They even had I forget what magazine it was at that time. They had a pull-out insert poster
that was,
in that,
Starlog?
No, it was Comics Feature.
something like that.
Comics
yeah.
Feature or Comics Collector, because I
Yeah.
still have that.
And in the promos, it was everywhere, and you were like, "Whoa, what's this?" I mean, I assume Contest of Champions had some interest because they put all those people together, but it wasn't hyped as much as this was. And this
Right.
was the day before hype, and before the market machine, and
Yeah.
even I was like, "Whoa," and picked it up.
I mean, Mike Zeck was hot at the time, so
Yeah.
as an artist, he was somebody that people were interested in and noticed. So when you saw that cover and saw that he did that cover, you were immediately interested to see all those Marvel heroes together and drawn by. I can understand why they did it as a poster.
Well, and wouldn't this actually be considered the original 1 year later? The way they set things up with the regular titles?
Well, yeah, what they did was we talked about this before. As this number 1 issue came out, for that month, all the characters were disappearing into this thing that appeared in Central Park, and it was like, whoa, where'd they go? And then the very next issue, most of those heroes came back, and you noticed that some things were changed, and you weren't going to know until you didn't know about Spider-Man's costume for another 7 months later. I mean, it just I thought that was a creative way to do it because it was sort of like, yeah. They were there. They went and did this, but you know what? We don't have to worry about it. We're going to keep going with our stories, and yeah, it was great. I mean,
Talk about something that makes you want to buy the miniseries, as opposed to when they shove a crossover in your face. Because it was like, okay, you don't need to read the miniseries if you don't want to know what happened in the gap. Because as far as the continuity of your comic is concerned, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Nothing. You didn't miss anything.
right.
Because 1 month they disappear, 1 month they show up, and now you just continue with your story. So,
Right.
Except for the FF. That was the most significant change because the Thing did not come back.
well, right. But I mean,
Right.
what I'm saying is
There were no
you read an
tie-ins.
FF comic,
Oh,
and in the last panel they disappear. Then you buy the next FF comic, and they come back in the first panel, and then there's a whole other FF story.
Right.
So while things are different, it's in a different fashion where it doesn't.
And the beauty of that was, nobody knew how to run an event like this. They just assumed this was how can we do it so that we don't piss off our readers, or maybe even not even that far. You have to go. How can we do it so that readers don't? It doesn't interrupt the flow of what they're reading, because this has never been done before. So.
And to do it the way they did it, like you said, if they did this as a separate entity to help sell toys, but also benefit themselves as a comic, to do that in all the series, it didn't interrupt the flow of the series, so it promoted that and created the buzz about it, rather than just say, well, here's Secret War, and
And I mean, I'm not, they're not. As I look at it and I realize what changed as they came out of this series. I mean, you got Spider-Man's costume, you had Thing replaced by She-Hulk. These aren't things that couldn't easily revert. Like, they didn't go out of their way to make these huge changes in these characters, because they didn't. Who knew that this was going to sell the way it was going to sell? And if it tanked, they could just forget about it.
Right.
Nobody would know. So I mean,
you mean like Secret Wars 2?
Well, we'll get to
that's another story.
Yeah, let's
baby steps.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, Kevin, because I know I enjoy Spider-Man just as much as you do, and I have the issues that revolve around this. But when I first read them, I don't remember. It was too much for me to grasp at the time. How did you feel with the whole new costume of Spider-Man?
I mean, my first initial reaction was like, forget it. I was not into it at all. I thought, why change it? What's the significance of this? Why? And that was my first initial reaction. That was, but after with, like you said, you didn't find out for a couple of months until you found out why and how it changed. But in the actual comic, you got to see how it changed, and you got to see this dynamic. And after seeing it in the pages for an issue or two, I was like, you know what? This really looks cool, and it actually makes sense. Why not have a black costume? He does kind of sneak around in the shadows and stuff, and it was kind of interesting to see this costume that he no longer had to make web fluid. It would change. He didn't have to change clothes. He could just will it, and it also would open up to receive
camera or something.
all those little devices, the spider tracer and stuff like that. So it really simplified him as a character and made things easy for him. And then to totally take that and totally flip it around and make it a negative for him, later on was just so well done. And then after you found out why and how the costume came about, it actually made it more plausible. But my initial reaction was I didn't want it, and then after reading the first 2 issues or 3 issues or something, I was like, you know what, this is really cool. I dig it.
I actually miss it.
I do it. I do in a way as well. Because it is so simplified. Yeah. I mean, it is so neat and unique in itself.
Even if it was the cloth one, I just think the whole design of it was beautiful.
What issue of back issue is that article's in? It's the most recent one?
No, is it issue 12, I think?
Issue 12? Okay.
Yeah.
There's a whole article that Brian mentioned about how it was supposedly only supposed to be around for an issue or 2, and then boom, the reaction to it was incredible, so they kept it. And it's a great article in back issue, whatever number that is.
I'll tell you what, one of my favorite covers of all time is the one with Spider-Man's 2 costumes pulling him from that dream sequence.
Yeah. And they did do it, impactfully. That when he found out that it was a symbiote and it was draining his energy and it was starting to graft and bond itself to him, that he had to try to figure out how to get rid of it and such. And then when he finally did, they made this whole build up to him finally, okay, I finally got rid of it, and now he puts on the red and blue suit again, and people are like, yeah, because the artist at the time was. Rick Leonardi had done some of the Amazing Spider-Man issues, and then Ron Frenz was doing the art as well. And he was drawing Spider-Man kind of Ditko-esque, like he was a kind of a homage style to Ditko, which I thought was very beautifully done. And the way he paneled the return of the red and blue costume was kind of like, it looked like the old Spider-Man back from the Ditko days. So everything they did with it worked. I mean, bringing back the red and blue costume and then having that back, so people were like, yeah, cool. So it helped carry the event longer, like you said, than they initially planned.
I even like how some issues you would have the cloth black one, then it would be the red one, and then also when the McFarlane series, well, just Spider-Man, later where he went into the sewers and he realized he stands out too well, so then he reverted back to the
black one.
The black one for the chemical. But
Well, it was interesting to read that article because
In issue 12.
it talks about, this was pre-internet, so rumors were not quite as quickly spreading, and so they thought, what the hell, we'll make a new costume, and it'll give them a new toy. They can sell another toy because there's a variant figure, so that's cool. And then they thought, we'll see what happens. And then before the first issue ever even came out, they heard that everyone hated the idea, so the editor said, write it out by issue 2. So it was open-ended when they conceived it. We'll change it for a while. Then they said, write it out by issue 2, by the second issue of the black costume. And then issue 1 came out and sold so well and sold out everywhere, and everybody loved it, that then they had to rewrite their stories to allow for it to stay, because now they couldn't write it out at issue 2. They had to keep it for a while. So it was really up and down all over the place.
That article is with Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends.
Yeah, it was very good.
And to give you kind of I have a little story. I mean, to give it kind of a grasp of how this was so publicly received and how much controversy and news it drew, was that I remember my brother, who lives a couple hours away from me, had called me up and said, hey, I just won a radio contest from my local area, because the question they asked was, what's the significance of Amazing Spider-Man 252? And so there was just an anybody radio station made one of their trivia questions about the black costume. So that it had created that much of a general public knowledge without the internet, that that there was that much of attention drawn to it. So
I mean, as a series, this miniseries introduced me to a lot of characters that I didn't know. I mean, I was, as much as a DC person I look back at the early 80s at all the books I was collecting. I was collecting everything. But it didn't mean that I knew who all these villains, like Ultron, I really didn't know, and the Wrecking Crew I really didn't know. And some of the dynamic between the heroes, like that issue 3 or 4 where Spider-Man totally takes down the X-Men. I still look back on that as one of my favorite issues in this run, because it was believable. Like I was like, that's cool. To see the heroes also at odds about certain ways that they're going to do things. It was this, Jim Shooter really, love him or hate him, he kind of nailed the series. And there were a couple issues that, you could feel they were kind of, meandering a little bit. It still was action-oriented and still had a lot in the issue, but just were like, okay, where are we going? And then, Galactus, yeah, let's go to this. Oh, Doctor Doom, and by the end, it really sets itself on fire. So
and for me, what I was going through, I mean, as a kid growing up, I watched the Super Friends and the challenges of Super Friends like everybody else did, and to me, being a Marvel fan more so, here was my version of Marvel's Challenge of the Super Friends.
Yeah.
Here's a group of Marvel characters against a group of Marvel villains, and it's this whole separate entity. But that's how I looked at it, and I was, that's what kind of sucked me into it.
I love this Doctor Doom cover of issue 10.
I was going to say that was one of my favorite things, as the portrayal of Doctor Doom in this whole series was cool.
That trade that you have, Brian, that's the newest one that's available now.
Yeah, it just recently. I just read it 2-3 months ago.
They have a hard copy too, don't they?
I don't know if they have a hard
copy. I don't think I've ever seen one, but
this trade is cool because it has all the heroes disappearing into that little.
That's what I like. Yeah, it shows the 3 or 4 panels from each issue that show them disappearing. That's cool.
I mean, they did release that as a trade, and I think the cover was done by Salvador.
Pacheco.
No, it was Salvador LaRocca.
No, there's a Pacheco cover trade. Yeah.
Bet.
Yeah, I will bet you. Because I told him when he bought it, I said, you should look for the Pacheco cover one.
Because that's the one I thought. I thought it was him, and then I checked it.
Or is that the Avengers Forever? No, I'm pretty sure it's Pacheco.
Now you're second guessing.
No, I did, because I did check it out, and then it's signed by LaRocca on the cover. But,
is it really?
And this is a second printing of it, and they recolored the Mike Zeck cover from issue 1 on this one, which looks brilliant. They put a new background in, which makes it a little more dynamic. But
I have to get it. I have yet to read it.
You never read it?
No.
Oh, it's excellent.
No.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It is worth it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's a little, it's 80s comic book action and dialogue and stuff, but it's still fun and has some very good characterization on a lot of these characters. So.
I mean, when it came out and I started reading it, I didn't take it seriously. I kind of looked at it as just this.
Well, who would back then?
You know what I mean? At that time, because you never had something like this, so I was just looking at it. Well, it is what it is. But when I saw how they were treating it and handling it in the other books, and then when I started reading the series and saw how it was going, I was like, you know what? This is something. This is really something.
Yeah.
And especially following up after Contest of Champions, which I really enjoyed, was they had a hold of something. So. It could have been really lame.
Well,
but it wasn't.
It was really lame with Secret Wars 2.
Well,
they took their own concept, which they had no idea what they were doing, and totally perverted it.
Right.
And everything that was so right about Secret Wars that they just accidentally fell upon, they made it so wrong with Secret Wars 2, where it was
exploiting.
Oh my God!
Too many crossovers.
Yeah, so many tie-ins, and the story itself in each issue did not. You couldn't read the issue straight through because if you really wanted to follow the story, you had to go into Amazing Spider-Man or Captain America or Fantastic Four or wherever else the tie-in came in. And the story was about the Beyonder coming down, and he wanted to be human, learn about human life, and you got Spider-Man teaching him how to pee, and just the whole thing was.
I mean, I have to say the only thing I can say is positives for Secret Wars 2. Like Secret Wars 1, I enjoyed the series. The actual series itself, the books were fun to read. Secret Wars 2, I kind of could care less what was in the Secret Wars 2. But what I really liked was some of the concepts they did
with the
in the tie-ins. Yeah. Like Daredevil was one that stood out for me.
Right.
Because the Beyonder came in and met with Daredevil and gave him his sight back. It was like, well, hey, this is, here's your chance. I can give you your sight back. And they went through this whole story, and by the end of the story, Matt's like, no, take it away. I don't want it, And so that was a great story. So beyond what it tied into, no pun intended, that there were some significant stories that people actually handled well with the tie-ins. But the series itself just sucked.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, with the exception of the black costume, what would you say out of the first Secret Wars is... you still feel the ripple effect in the Marvel Universe, or unlike
She-Hulk and the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. I was gonna say, unlike Crisis, where there's still that stuff coming through. That this was kind of just.
But you can't compare it because that whole idea of what an event like that should be they weren't doing that with Secret Wars. You know what I mean? Like that's why I keep calling it a happy accident.
Yeah.
Because.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, they put thought into it of okay, will this affect our? But it's a happy accident because they came up with an idea of an event. This is really, if you think about it, this is this is the only self-contained event ever. I mean, you could even say Contest of Champions really is the only one because this one had effects.
Yeah, Contest of Champions had no crossover, no reference in any other books whatsoever.
And Crisis was planned out a little bit to be a big crossover with things.
With
more like what they tried to do with Secret Wars 2,
right?
Where they perversed it a little bit, but Secret Wars.
Yeah, and it, I'm sure in their minds they thought Secret Wars 2 was going to be just like Secret Wars 1, and I read them. I mean, I was there, I read them, and they also were going through that time. All comics were going through that time of the paper quality and the coloring was really stark.
Yeah, the coloring changed big time. That's where they went really. Kind of got away from the pixelation
or something like that.
Yeah, the dot pixelation wasn't the coloring. They actually had full bleeds of color on the page, which really kind of limited to them as far as what they could do with the color. So it was almost very primary, very primitive as far as the coloring goes.
Very bright,
very brilliant, but very primary
colors. Yeah.
I'm sure they followed suit with a toy line for that too. Then didn't they?
No, I don't think so.
No, not for 2, because that was more story driven.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he appeared in New Mutants. That was kind of an interesting issue when he appeared with the New Mutants and
mullet and all.
Yeah.
The Beyonder.
What's that?
The Beyonder you're talking.
Yeah, the Beyonder.
Well, do they still make reference to She-Hulk being in the Fantastic Four?
Oh yeah,
it's part of her history.
Yeah, what about the with the Thing? Because that's kind of the repercussions of what happened out of the storyline. I think too was also important too.
Well, it was, and actually. The whole thing out of Secret Wars, what came of the Thing, and one of the reasons why he stayed was the fact that he was able to change consciously back to Ben Grimm.
On the planet.
So that's why he chose to stay there by himself, which was kind of a unique concept and which bled off into his own book
right.
That John Byrne was doing. and that was never. It was discussed and mentioned, but it never filled over into the book when he came back.
Wait, because I heard about the story that kind of the reason why. I don't know if we're just that. I guess throughout his series, while he was on the battle world, he always thought there was somebody there, like after him, like in the shadows. And eventually, I guess something happened where he confronted it, and it wound up being himself that he killed. So now he just kind of made his conscious decision that if he ever reverted back to Ben, he would be dead. Because I guess he was always able to, but just some mental thing blocked him.
Right. Mental block, that's all it was.
It kind of was.
Which they touched upon again. I don't know if it, again, with another accident or something, but when Carlos Pacheco and Jeff Loeb was doing Fantastic Four, and he got solidified by the Grey Gargoyle into a statue,
right.
and he couldn't revert back, and then they finally got him free because the Grey Gargoyle's powers are temporary, and he would not revert back, so they had to do some things to get him to revert back to the thing. But after that, he was able to consciously change again.
Right.
So it was something that they did play along. It wasn't something that was trivial, and it was interesting because it was a whole different take on the character. Because basically, you got to look at the whole build-up of that character was always, I'm a monster, nobody accepts me.
That's his flaw.
Exactly.
That's the flaw.
So now having this conscious choice, well, it's like that takes a hell of a lot of weight and pressure off the character. That I don't have to be this way anymore. I can choose when I want to be the thing because it gives me that opportunity. So.
Well, how did he get off the battle world at the end?
He had the teleport button.
Oh, so he could always
he just whenever he wanted to. Yeah. Secret Wars 2. I was trying to think if there was anything else about that. I mean, it's I read it. If you're gonna read all the stuff, like all the events, if you feel like go read it. You can find it in the 50-cent bins. I'm sure.
It's not horrible, but it's just not near the
it's
quality.
Not as fun.
No, it's not. Like I said, to me, the actual crossover issues in the books I found more enjoyable than the actual Secret Wars 2 issues themselves.
Right. I didn't mind the issue with the Secret Wars 2 with all villains. Oh, that was.
Is that later on? I can't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah, it's towards the end, I believe, because the Thing's in that as well. I guess he has a movie career. But that one I didn't think was too bad. And I think there's even a one-shot in Fantastic Four called Secret Wars 3, which has the Beyonder and Molecule Man.
Oh.
And the Cosmic Cube.
I don't think I've ever read that one. Yeah, I mean, they certainly reference at least the Beyonder and the first Secret War. So it's not like they've forgotten about it. They just, it's not high on their list.
No.
But you can't talk about one without talking about the other, so that's why we brought them out. So we'll continue with that later on.
Shall we call someone?
Sure.
We got Ryan Vindham, he's out in California.
Der Winterwasser?
Here to wash your windows.
I guess it'd be the Viper. I was thinking the old G.I. Joe cartoon reference. It was the Viper. I am the Viper.
I wish they, on that Secret Wars trade, they would have put the characters that are on the poster. Thor's supposed to be on that, too.
Hello?
Hello, Ryan.
Yeah?
Hey, Ryan, this is Brian Deemer and Comic Geek Speak.
Oh, hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Oh, great.
Did we catch you at a bad time?
Oh, well, I was just, sorry, just working out, but what's going on?
You gave us your number, so we decided to call.
Okay. I liked your Infinite Crisis podcast. That was really cool.
Cool. The third one?
Actually, the first one, because then you backed up upon Crisis on Infinite Earths and everything like that, so, I don't know. It was fun.
Good. What are you reading?
Right now, I'm reading Essential Conan.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah, from Marvel. It came out a couple years ago or something. And I'm also reading Essential Spider-Man 7.
Wow, cool.
What story is that hitting? Or what era?
It's the issues are around the mid-'70s, and it's when they bring back Gwen Stacy for a short time.
That was the clone. It picked up. Yeah, that was like the 150s, 160s.
It's like 165, 170. But yeah, it's getting good. The last Essential wasn't
as good, but now it's picking up.
Cool.
But Conan's really cool, just because, you're like, Conan, Sword and Sorcery or something like that. So, I don't know. So what's up with you guys?
We just wrapped up a talk about Secret Wars, and we went through the current previews to hit some highlights on that for books coming out in March.
Cool.
Did you ever read Secret Wars or Secret Wars 2?
I never read it, just because I'm too cheap to buy it. But
at least you're honest.
I mean, basically, what I hear from it is that Spider-Man gets a new outfit.
Yeah, that's pretty much what
big news.
It's like Spider-Man goes from the classic red and blue to black. Oh, okay. Now I don't have to read it. Yeah.
What's your spending budget? How many books a week do you get?
I go off and on to the comic book store because there's an excellent store in Concord, California, that's about 20 to 30 miles away, and I go every 2 weeks, so I would say about $20 every time I go there.
That's a hell of a willpower.
Yeah, that's chump change, my friend. Come on.
It's mostly trade. What?
You need to step up.
That's true. It's mostly trade paperbacks and mostly indie stuff. I bought this indie trade called Industry of War. So once I'm done with Essential Spider-Man 7, then I'm going to give that a try.
Cool.
So I'm happy.
All right, man. Well, thanks for joining us for a few minutes. We're running low on time here, so we have to move along.
Okay. Have a good one.
We'll let you get back to your workout.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Drop and give me 20.
Do you want to do another Year of Comics 2005 review?
Sure.
This is from Paul Pope, who we recently interviewed not too long ago. And this is not for work safe, and put your headphones on so your children don't hear. All right, this is Paul Pope. I remember meeting Brian Azzarello for the first time in the mid-'90s, and I was at that time working on my big self-published books like Buzz Buzz and Giant THB. I was all about messing with the formats of comics, and at the time was holding a sort of ragtag court around cocktails, crowing like a comics rooster about all this type of stuff. He overheard me and came back with, "Don't fuck with the format of comics, fuck with the form." Who's this motherfucker, I thought to myself. This was when he was on the verge of starting 100 Bullets, and well before he worked his way into the mainstream. Around the same time, I met both Warren Ellis and Grant Morrison, who at the time were both more of drinking mates than they were friends. I wasn't even aware of what they did in print. Since then, those three, along with the great talents they have worked with, have been fucking with the form of comics, writing challenging material for a more or less mainstream audience. As 2006 begins its allotted 12-month unraveling, it seems to me that more than one particular artist, including Chris Ware and Assorted Company, Hollywood is fucking with the format of comics more than anyone by opening up a rather disinterested viewing audience to the entire idea of comics. It used to be a little uncomfortable to tell civilians you did comics for a living. The inevitable second question was, do you make a living from that? Now everyone thinks it's cool. Hollywood has changed a lot, but they haven't really done anything with the form of the medium, nor could they. They guaranteed the comics industry a renewed place in pop culture as the film industry's special wing of research and development. Comics is where Hollywood strip mines for new ideas, for better or for worse. We're in bed together now. But fuck that. Let's fuck with the form of comics, flip it over, and fuck with the format too.
Smack it up, flip it, rub it down.
There's a hell of a lot of F-bombs in there.
We have a couple of voicemails here.
Cool.
Hey guys, just wanted to congratulate you guys on the Stanley interview and let you guys know that the only time I've ever heard you more nervous is when you had to talk to a girl.
Yeah, no.
Hit and run.
Was that a catch?
Hi guys, it's Amy here, better known as Little Witch on the forums from the UK. Just phoning up to say that I love your episodes. Just listened to number 34 there, and something that's always wondered me about Superman is How come he can just take off his glasses and suddenly he's Superman? Surely someone recognised him by now. Okay, keep up what you're doing, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
That was neat. She's been a topic of discussion lately because she was
cool.
missing for a while.
Yeah, she's cool.
I know. I thought that was great when everyone on the forum was like, "Hey,
Where's Little Witch?
Where's Little Witch?
where's Little Witch?" There's like 2-page thread on it. You know, where is she? I hope she comes back.
And she even took my love advice, I believe, that I gave her?
Yes, she did. That's right.
I think
Love
if
advice from Matt.
Yeah,
I know how to give it.
I think I'd
I'm staying away from
steer
that
clear
one.
from that. I got one more. It's just.
What's up, Droogies? Hi, this is Brad in Dallas, and I was just listening to the episode with the Claypool comic guy, and so I went to my store to pick up my shipment for this week and had him order a copy of Soul Searchers number 76 for me. I don't know why I've been picking that up because I'm a Peter Davis fan anyway. So anyway, just thought I'd let you guys know that did that, and I'd hate to see Donna drop them. So y'all keep up the good work. Talk to you later. Bye.
Good to know.
Excellent. Yep.
Well, at least one person.
Way to
bought
do
it.
your homework. It's cool.
Dandy.
Yeah. There it is.
Anything else?
Got any?
Oh, you know what? I got a little toy thing. I kind of taken my
Sorry to hear that.
my Star Wars collecting. I started ordering those Sideshow 12-inch figures.
Oh boy.
So whatever Revenge of the Sith stuff I have for the kids is it, and I'm going to steer clear from the new waves of Star Wars stuff that's coming out. The new 12-inch format really interests me with the pictures and stuff that they show. Looks really good.
I'll be interested to see him.
So you're staying away from them? Place your bets. How long is that going to
well, a big problem with what the line's getting into now is you're starting to get into, like, it's called the Saga line. Okay, that's great. But, you know, how many times can you have Luke Skywalker in a white outfit? How many times can you have Leia in the Balsh outfit as the bounty hunter? How many times can you have Han in Carbonite? Some of them look better, and you know, I'm sure there'll be some great ones along the ways that you might pick one or two. But overall, it's totally redone characters.
Well, but for 5-year-old
For new-
kids,
yeah,
they
for-
never had
it's
them
brand
before,
new.
so they have to re-release them every couple of years.
Shane, like, you can get enough of Princess Leia in the slave girl outfit. You
I
probably
didn't
have
say
like
that.
20 of those.
They didn't come out with them yet.
What are the price points on those?
They're a little bit expensive. They are between $49 and $59 so far.
Are they kind of like when G.I. Joe used to have those toys? Or is it like that
No,
idea?
it's
or no?
it's a similar idea. Like Hasbro did the 12-inch line. It was never all that successful. So this is kind of along the lines of a Randy Bowen thing, where they set a run. Most of them are about 1,500 to 2,000. It seems to me it's 1,750, and that's it. They have two versions. One is if you go on their site the day that they order it, and you're a member of their newsletter, and something else, you can pre-order their version, which has like an extra weapon or an extra hand or something extra for their Sideshow exclusive, and they're the same price point. So it's just if you get lucky enough to be able to be in a position to order that, and then you have the other ones, which are just the regular production runs, and I think the Sideshow exclusives are less run, like maybe 1,000 or something. I'm not sure. And then you have the regular run that is 1,750. When it runs out, and that's it. They do X-Files figures. They've done Buffy the Vampire Slayer figures, Angel figures. So I mean, their credentials are fairly lengthy, and all their figures are very popular. Right. I always wanted to enjoy the 12-inch line of Star Wars stuff, and I have some of them, but a lot of them really weren't that good. And Hasbro still holds the license, but they've more or less brokered an agreement to loan it out to Sideshow to be able to make these.
These 12-inch figures, the ones that are $40, $50 you were talking about, are these like they have cloth costumes?
Cloth costumes, very detailed accessories, multiple open hand, closed hand. They have a lightsaber hilt, an ignited lightsaber. The Jedi Luke comes. One of the versions comes with the gun that he gets in Jabba's palace to try and assassinate Jabba real quick.
It's all about the accessories.
Yeah.
Accessorize.
So it's something that I'm curious to hear. I know a lot of people, there are a few people on the Palisades forum that are getting them, and I'm curious to hear if any of our listeners have any interest in them. And they talk about things that are coming up in the future, like one of the things is Darth Vader is, of course, taller than everybody else, and Hasbro most of the time didn't make him taller than any of the other figures, sometimes, but these are actually going to be in true scale, where Darth Vader is going to end up being like 16 inches tall compared to 12 inches. So it's something that I'm looking forward to. I just hope that it is popular enough and continues. And it's just a shift in something that I'm looking for some life in a Star Wars collectible.
All right. Well, this episode of Comic Geek Speak was brought to you by Drawer Boxes at www.collectiondrawer.com, the ultimate storage solution for your comics. And if you would like to send us an email, you can do so comicgeekspeak@gmail.com, and our website is comicgeekspeak.com. Big thanks to upallnightgaming.com for hosting our website. Please vote for us at Podcast Alley. We get some T-shirts on our website, and we're brought to you in conjunction with WorldFamousComics.com, your spot on the internet for the best comic book and entertainment-related columns, contests, features, reviews, news, resources, and more. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.